even before the endurance lab started here at Lady Creek, I had people ask me, how'd you ever get into running? The story's not that interesting. It's not that awe-inspiring. It's by far not that pretty. But because you asked, here you go.
So if you would have told me 10 years ago that my husband was going to become an ultra runner, I would have laughed. We started down this journey running a marathon, which to me is still crazy because he never ran a day in his life until we were in our late 40s, and I was the runner, but now he was going to run a marathon. And the first one and the second one were pretty sad. They were road races, and he was slow. But he finished them, and it was amazing. And after that one, he decided that road racing probably wasn't his thing.
So just to give you a little more context before we get too much deeper into the story, I'd already ran my first marathon when I started at Lady Creek and ended up running my second marathon while I was here at Lady Creek also. And commiserating to Ron about how much I hated the streets and I hated stoplights and I hated walk paths and driveways and how it was just, always about speed and I pretty much whining about everything about road running. Ron said, hey, have you ever tried trail running? I said, no, I didn't really know I never really knew they ran on trails. He goes, yeah, give it a shot. It's much easier on your body. I loved it. You should check it out. So I did check it out, and I fell in love with it. So if you were to ask my wife, how did Troy ever get involved in ultra running? She'd say he knew a guy named Ron Nash. And Ron, thanks for the advice. I've enjoyed it ever since.
And he decided to try an ultra or a trail run. I had never heard of such a thing, and I had no idea what this was going to be the start of when he went and did it. He started training and running more and more and out in the wilderness, and pretty soon he was ready and he signed up to do his first trail run. And it was interesting. It was a race called Bunker to Bonneville, and we drove up to Washington, and he headed out first thing in the morning, and I have to admit it was a lot of fun. Kind of got lost trying to find him in the wilderness, and it was an adventure. When he finished, it was like a new high for him. It was like he had to do more. It just grew from there. 50K, 50-miler, 100K. And then when he told me he was going to do a 100-miler, I really thought he was crazy. As a wife, you have to realize that these things just don't happen easily. I thought training for a marathon took him a lot of time. Training for a 100-miler, the amount of commitment is crazy. And I'm going to be honest, there's times where I hate it because he's gone. I'll wake up on a Saturday morning and he's been gone for hours. He's out there on the trail in Silverton, and I'm wondering, okay, is he dead on the trail or is he still moving? But then he comes home and he's exhilarated and he's happy because he's now took back the local legend status on the mountain, and I can see it just brings him joy. It's become kind of part of our life and part of our family. We do it as a team.
We're gonna have to catch the race early. Well, we didn't stay up there. We're gonna drive up.
Saw Troy at the starting line, and it was really cold. He was geared up, ready to go though, excited to start.
And it's not always easy, but we always have a lot of fun. The training is the part that's not so fun. I'm sure not for him either, and for us, or myself. But come race day, there's nothing like it, even as a spectator.
Where are they? And I can't like stay off my phone.
Yeah, where is
Always
he?
refreshing the spot, and I like to see where they are on the GPS, or seeing if they have service so that you can see them on Find Friends, and then you're trying to triangulate, you know, where they're at based on their GPS, and then where that is on the trail, and trying to calculate how far that is to the next point. At least that's what I do.
Yeah.
Been there. Yeah. Just preparing for the night.
Well, heading out on the night portion. Got all my stuff together. The Bee Gees are playing. Staying alive. That will be our goal tonight. Staying alive. Well, I just went through Red Wolf aid station. Sorry, no video. Here's what's left of the quesadilla though. Anyway, it's gonna be night after a while. Looking forward to it. So it's 9:30, maybe 10, 9:30. It's like somebody unplugged me. Power is off. Oh man. Like no energy. No energy. So this video is already tragically longer than I wanted it to be, but I decided to put some content in that I did the day after the race when emotions are raw and thoughts are the freshest. So I wanted to record it then. So I'd apologize for the emotion in it, but quite honestly, I kind of want you to see it because it's kind of cool to be broken and to come back from that. So judge me if you want, but here it is. I wanted to finish. I desperately wanted to finish. I just struggled. And I'm telling you, the last leg from Pinheads into O'Lally Meadows was beyond painful. I had Caltopo on my phone, and I kept checking how close I was, how close I was, how close I was, and it was like I was getting nowhere. When I got into the meadows, checked in, walked through, and first person I ran into was Joe Van Veldhuizen. Said, how you doing? So I'm wrecked. In a bad spot, man. First thing he said is, don't quit. You cannot quit. And I've been thinking the last half hour, God, it's just to climb in the backseat of the pickup and go home. Just go home. So Joe said, where's your crew? I said, I don't know. So Joe and Guy come back and they help me up. So we're walking back. I'm telling Guy, don't let me quit. Do not let me quit. Don't let me quit. Don't let me quit. I'm just telling you right now, it was the most rejuvenating 20 minutes, 30 minutes that I was there. I don't know how long I was there. It wasn't very long. But man, oh man, I'm telling you, I was ready to go after that. Ready to go. I thought he had like the knowledge to complete it, but I just worried more like that some kind of injury would be the nail in the coffin more than anything.
So as soon as I heard him say like, oh, I'm just really tired, like I don't hurt anywhere specifically, but I'm tired. I was like, okay, he just needs, he's early, he was early enough that we had at least, I mean, he was 2 hours ahead of the cutoff, so he could sit there for 30 minutes and still have an hour and a half, which in my mind I was like, 30 minutes is fine. So,
Especially
you know,
before the long night stretch.
yeah, he was like, give me 10 minutes, and I was like, I can't be here longer than 10 minutes.
And I gotta admit, crewing, it's pretty fun. You know, you go to a race and you start out early in the morning, and pretty soon most of the day's gone by, and you're going into the evening, and it gets dark and it's quiet out there. There's nothing quite like cooking quesadillas and mashed potatoes in the middle of nowhere on the tailgate, on a burner, just standing there waiting in the dark for your racer to emerge from the darkness. And you know, you hang out with them here for a little while and doctor them up and fix their feet and get them back on the trail.
All right, so
This is the glamour shot right here.
this is called repair and run. So it's late night, about what, 11 a little something after?
Yeah.
50, almost 60 miles in.
Yep.
This stuff he's got to have. I knew he had to be in a good headspace because he was going to be alone, and you have to be thinking positive at that point, otherwise it's going to be bad. So I think the half hour of just sitting in the truck, laying down a little bit, gunning, made a big difference. And I mean, I think sending him off with good energy, I was confident that he would feel good for at least a while. Part is the morning sometimes waiting, because sometimes the GPS isn't dropping very much, and you're kind of like expecting him to be there at a certain time, but it's been a long night, so you don't know how much they've slowed down, and everybody looks pretty bad coming in the morning. You see all the other runners coming in, and you're like, oh gosh, what's my runner gonna look like?
And then, you know, pretty soon sun's coming up and they emerge out of the trees again and warm them up and get them some breakfast. They are in a Tupperware container that got a red lid on it.
Just like that.
All right.
See you in a while. 7:45.
There you go, Troy.
7:45, 8:45, 9:45, about 10:45.
All right, Pacer.
It's always funny, like, I mean, for people that don't race a lot, they're like, oh, well, he's going to be like pushing now, like he's almost there.
Yeah.
Like he should be here. He should be here in like an hour.
Be faster.
He should be here in like an hour, right? And I'm like, I mean, he's probably pushing, but that doesn't mean he's going to be going faster.
In the 90s of miles.
Yeah. So I mean, just being realistic, like, it's more important to be consistent and not necessarily dropping the time.
It hasn't always been easy for Troy. Not every race you start, you finish. And it's disappointing to them, and they're down about it. And you know, you got to be there to help pick them back up and tell them it's okay. And you know, next time, I thought the first time Troy didn't finish a 100-miler that would be the end of it. In fact, the deal was, you get to run a 100-mile race, and then we start doing shorter races because it takes too much time. And he did his first 100-miler, and he didn't quite finish, and that made him want it all the more. And here we are a couple years later, and he's finished 2 of them now. So as you can see, I lost the deal. But you know what? It's okay. We have a lot of fun doing it now. There's a lot to learn out there, and you know, my son's getting into it now. Like I said, my grandson wants to do a race, and so you know, there's a lot to be said for it. So if you're thinking about it, I'd say go for it.